The delegate from Henrico spoke to us on February 1st about the good, the bad, and the ugly of Black history. Truly, there are all three facets in our history, and a lot of good has come out of the bad and the ugly. Today, we talk a little bit about the ugliness of segregation in our public schools, the ugliness of denying innocent children an education simply because of the color of their skin. As in past years, I'm sharing a piece of the place I was born and raised, a piece of the history and foundation that I stand on, a piece of the history of Norfolk. On February 2nd, 1959, 17 African-American students entered 6 previously all-white middle and high schools in Norfolk, Virginia. These schools had been closed for 5 months as a result of Virginia's massive resistance effort to avoid the desegregation mandated by the Brown versus Board of Education ruling in 1954. The white community was forced by federal and local courts to accept desegregation. The students are Lewis Cousins, who attended Morey High School, Olivia Driver, Patricia Godbolt, Alvarez Frederick Gonsoland, Andrew Heidelberg, Dolores Johnson, and Johnny Rouse, who attended Norview High School, Betty Jean Reed, who went to Granby High School, James Turner Jr., Patricia Turner, Carol and Claudia Wellington, Lavera Forbes, and Edward Jordan, who attended Norview High School. Lolita Portis and Reginald Young went to Blair Junior High School, and Geraldine Talley went to Northside Junior High School. The Norfolk 17, as they were called, sustained many hardships for the sake of integration so that other children would have a more valuable education experience and educational opportunities. They learned firsthand that white schools had new textbooks, nice furniture, and impressive laboratory equipment, none of which they had in their schools. Initially, 151 African-American students applied to the all-white schools. After intense testing and interviews, by September of 1958, only 17 remained. When the governor ordered the schools closed, these 17 students, along with 10,000 other students, had to find ways to continue their schooling. At the historic First Baptist Church, Butte Street, and another church in Norview, they were trained for 16 weeks for their roles as agents of social change. Because nothing could be left to chance, they received instruction on deportment, in handling racial conflict, and in meeting the academic challenges that were before them. As they entered schools for the first time, the Norfolk 17 relied on their training to deal with the racial conflict they encountered. These little people were spat upon, called names, had things thrown at them, and were tripped, and one young lady was even stabbed. They experienced physical and emotional abuse, while the local and national press reported that there was no violence experienced. While many of the students have tried to leave their experiences in the past, many have come forward to share their stories at various events and through interviews conducted as part of the 50th anniversary commemorations through 2008 and 2009. In 2002, the city of Norfolk finally honored them with medals for their bravery and courage, and in 2008, this body of the General Assembly passed a resolution commemorating the Norfolk 17 on the occasion of their 50th anniversary of the struggle to integrate the public schools in Norfolk. Some would ask, Mr. Speaker, why do we bring up the ugly? Oh, Lord. We bring up the ugly so that it is never forgotten, because a history that is forgotten or unknown is bound to repeat itself. Some would wonder why Democrats fight so hard for public education. The reason we fight so hard is because Democrats fight hard to fund it, because they understand that Black people traditionally have been locked out of public education, and separate was never equal, and all children, Mr. Speaker, deserve a quality and world-class education. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.